Hey, Creekers, good morning and happy Thursday. Wanted to share a quick devotional thought with you again as we're just continuing on our series of the fruit of the Spirit. Today we're talking about the fruit of the Spirit is joy. If I were to ask you, what are the top 10 things that bring you joy? What might you list? For me, it's plaid shirts, Bible studies, and drinking coffee from a variety of different mugs. Not really. What are some of the things that bring me joy are spending time with my kids, spending time with my family, having the privilege just to be able to sit down and write, be creative. I love playing games. I love hanging out with friends. These are things that bring me joy in my life. All right, coffee and plaid shirts too. So what does being joyful mean? It doesn't mean that you're running around high-fiving people all the time. It doesn't mean that every day is a good day. It doesn't even mean that you're never depressed. We read in Scripture from the Passion narrative before the cross, Jesus himself, it says he was in great despair. It says he was disturbed in the spirit and sorrowful to the point of death. In Scripture, Paul, who wrote so much of the New Testament, talks about being depressed. And then his friend Silas comes to him and lets him know that all of the things that bumped him out have now been fixed. And Paul's now happy. He's not happy because he thinks about his salvation or has a deep spiritual thought. He's happy because all of the things that have bummed him out have now been fixed. What I love about this is how life is really lived. I can be sorrowful. I can lament. I can even go through a season of depression sometimes, and I can still have deep, deep inner joy. So, where do you find that joy? I've always believed that joy comes from this being thankful at the core, an attitude of gratefulness or an attitude of gratitude, as my wife likes to say. It's looking back and seeing what God has done for us. It's being thankful for what God has given you, how he has saved you, how he has reached you. And I think that's where joy flows out of. But it's more than what God has done. It's about what God is still doing in you. So today I want us to open up our Bibles to the book of James, chapter 1, at the very beginning of the book of James, and see what does God say should bring us the greatest amount of joy. In James chapter 1, verse 2, it says this, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kind, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Sometimes when you read the scriptures, it just goes against everything you know to be true. And how can we consider trials to be the source of joy? I think it's interesting. Here we are in this moment facing this COVID-19 virus. The nation has been shut down. People are afraid, and people are asking, what is our response as Christians supposed to be in this moment? How do we go about this trial without losing our joy? But I love this. Thousands of years before this moment, before we were facing this trial, God already knew we would face moments like these. And so he says, when you face trials, count it as joy. He says, when you face trials of many kinds. The original Greek word there actually means multifaceted or multicolored. It's as if as many colors are on the spectrum, or it's this picture of a beautiful jewel with different facets reflecting in different directions. Isn't that beautiful? Until you realize he's talking about the variety of trials that you will have in your life. So why would we face trials like this? Why would it be a source of joy? Why would we consider this purest joy? He answers the question in verse 3, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And perseverance will finish its work so that you will be mature and complete. God says it's in the time of our trials that he is working on us, that he's making us mature, that he is completing us. It's when we're in the midst of trials that God is working most within our hearts and our souls, refining us to be who we need to be when we grow up. And Scripture says that should be a source of joy. You shouldn't just have this attitude of gratitude for what God has done in the past, but we should have an attitude of gratefulness for what God is doing in us now. I want to let you know this trial that we are in the middle of is an opportunity for God to begin to refine you and make you who you need to be. And you should be thankful, we should be thankful that God is working in us in the midst of all this. That is cause for joy. Hey guys, thank y'all for joining us on this another short devotional video. You can get these daily devotionals on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page. We're just trying to stay in contact, stay connected as a community, still be able to give you these little Bible studies as we just kind of go through some of these trials, seeking out what God is doing in us. So feel free to click the subscribe or notify button on our YouTube page to get alerted anytime we put out new material. Also, you can text at OSO Online to 81010. Make sure you put the little at symbol at the OSO Online portion of it. Text that to 81010 to get these devotionals sent directly to your phone in the morning. What are some things that bring you joy? Feel free to share in your comment section down below. Type out some of the things that just bring you joy. What are some things that God has done that you are grateful for? What are some things that God is doing in your heart now? Let us know in the comment section down below. We love you guys and we are continuing to be praying for you. We'll see you tomorrow morning.